So like, yeah.
That's recorded.
Okay.
You good?
Yeah.
One of them's good.
Oh, no, I'm like,
Yeah, this puts nothing over here.
done, like,
I'm not gonna
we're
mess.
like,
We're good.
whatever.
I'd like to welcome everyone to the Emmaus Borough Council meeting, including Cub Pack 25 from St. John's UCC. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we'll have personal appeals, part one. If you have a personal appeal, please approach the podium, and you have 5 minutes for your appeal.
So Nick Nonamaker, 718 West Burger Street. Just want to say thank you so much for having us tonight. Really appreciate you guys taking the time to answer the questions. The boys really appreciate it, and so do we. So that's it. Thanks.
Thank you, and they were all good questions.
We try.
Does anybody else have an appeal? Hearing none, does anyone have a community minute to bring forward?
I would like to thank Terry McManaman for her efforts with the PCN community video. If you've looked at our Facebook page, you'll see some of the photos from Friday, but she spent the entire day. Unfortunately, I was scheduled to join her, but couldn't. But she had organized this thing, and she did a great job with organizing the entire event from months ago when we first got the idea to executing it. And I know that Mr. Barrett was part of it, and I know that Mrs. Gilbert was part of it, and business owners throughout the town were part of it, and other community volunteers and activists were part of it. And I know that when it presents itself on PCN, I'm sure it'll be a great presentation. So thank you, Mrs. McManaman,
You're very welcome.
for your
It was
efforts.
so much fun. We had a great time.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Wes. Thank you, Leanne. Appreciate it.
So, and I apologize for forgetting his name, but one of our local high school students is fundraising and to get a new mascot uniform for the Emmaus Hornet, and they have several different items that they're doing for fundraising, and he's been out in the community a lot. There was an article written recently about him. So, I'd like to just, thank him for all that he's doing and being out in the community. He's wearing that uniform proudly and making Emmaus proud. So if you see him around, smile, take a picture with him.
I see the tweets on him.
And if you can
He has
donate towards it, there's
Twitter
some
account.
various items. So just wanted to pass that out there.
Okay. Also, we had Earth Day this past Saturday, right? Didn't hear any totals on it or anything, but we will get a report on that eventually, and we'll pass that on.
I'm gonna do it during my.
Are you going to do it during your committee?
report. Yep.
Okay. All right, there's no special presentations tonight. Reading of the minutes. Would somebody like to recommend to approve the council meeting minutes of April 2nd? Councilman Barrett, seconded by Councilman Dufresne. Any questions or discussion or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes. There are no decisions on bids. Communications, we have 2 on the agenda, and then we received one on our desk. Stephanie Gardner requests the use of the Triangle for the Emmaus Film Fest on May 6th. So that's less than 3 weeks. We are going to make a motion tonight to allow them to use the Triangle. They're going to do some filming there. I believe that's all they're doing. And some demonstrations also.
They actually have a representative here, so maybe.
Oh, sure, I'd like to call whoever.
Maybe they can explain to us.
Oh,
Hi.
Hello.
I'm Linda Gardner. I'm Stephanie's mother. That have nothing to do with this festival, but I am representing her because she's in New Mexico at the moment. And she is requesting the use of the Triangle for a demonstration of drone cinematography. And I believe she sent you an explanation as to what that would entail.
yes, we received a letter
Okay.
and 10 pages of.
And the person who would be doing it has all the licensing and insurance and everything that was needed to do it. to do the demonstration, does it frequently. He's has worked in the film industry, major film industry for 30 years, and is on the cutting edge of this cinematographic drone stuff. It will be, he's trying to do it educationally, and there is some interest in the local and regional drone people who want to see. He's got all the top of the line equipment, and he wants to reach children and people to, I've never seen it, so I don't know what it's like, but I understand it's quite interesting. And they're expecting maybe 20 to 30 people to be participating in the educational part of it. So do you have any questions on?
Do you know if there's anything required of the borough for this, or you just actually just need the
Well,
triangle and
only-
that's it?
No, that's probably it, but the one thing she does have concern about is there an outlet for a TV so that she can, so
Yeah.
that they can actually.
Yes, there's
visually-
outlets on the
okay,
triangle.
So they can visually see what's going on. That's the only requirement they would have.
Yeah, there's outlets, more than one outlet.
Go
You're
ahead.
probably gonna ask the question. I was
Same,
gonna ask.
I'm just asking them if it's an event taking place, do they have to fill out an event waiver?
Well, so that's kind of interesting.
Is that the same question?
The law says, I mean, they could go there in a public park. If they want exclusive use of that triangle, then I would say, yeah, they do. If they don't want, Johnny playing around the fountain while they're doing it. However, if they just want to go to the park, you can't stop them from just going to the park. I mean, Mr. Dimick,
So
That's an accurate statement.
so,
they're putting on I guess it's a thin line because they're putting on an event
Yeah.
and they're doing a demonstration
I-
which would require
I would think
insurance,
as a
right?
formality, I think we should probably have them do an event for them.
Right.
I would agree that will cover you. In other words, if people come and are in the way
If you
or
get
not
50,
cooperating,
60,
it'll give
70
you.
people there and
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
it becomes a traffic issue then.
Well, I don't know about necessarily a traffic issue. They're not
Well, I
gonna be
mean,
out on the road,
people-
but a people traffic issue,
Cutting through
yeah,
there, yeah.
yeah. So it'd probably be a good idea for them to fill out the event form, but that doesn't stop you from being
No.
able to contingently
online, correct?
approve it.
That's online.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's an event form that's online on the borough website that if you could please fill that out, or have her fill it
I'll
out
have her fill it.
and forward that to the borough
And online where?
on the
At-
borough
at our
website.
website.
Oh, okay, thank you.
And if you have any problems finding it, just call Borough Hall.
Okay.
So with that being said, does anybody else have any other questions?
It's just one drone, or will there be people bringing more to their drones as well?
If somebody else is bringing another drone, that's not part of it. I mean, she,
Okay.
as far as I know, she and Duperlon Tisdale,
Yeah, I was trying to
who's the drone expert, is, it's doing it for the reason of cinematography. And there's going to be other events at the
I see that,
the
yeah.
kids' place and the theater. The theater's on Saturday, and you're all invited. I do have postcards. Can I leave them?
Sure. I read through some of the events that are going on. It's very exciting, and it's great that she's bringing that to the borough here.
Well, she did it a couple years ago at the Emmaus Theater, and it was highly successful. There were approximately 250 to 300 people at the theater watching the film festival that she was doing, which was an international grouping. This year, she's concentrating on women in the film industry because there's been a lot of talk about the lack of women in the film industry, and so she's trying to promote it. And she'll have a panel discussion with an active film. She's actually a playwright and singer and Broadway actress down at Amber Connection on Sunday also. So there'll be several other things going on that she's doing, but she runs a great event. I'll tell you that much.
That's fantastic.
Just a suggestion for, I know my daughter she's a freshman at the high school, and that she takes communications, and they do filming and things. That might be a connection that she would
Well,
like
she
to-
did put out a call for filmmakers in Emmaus, and got quite a number of entries, and went, and chose. I'm not sure if there's 3 or 4 that there are also going to be
Okay.
shown at the film festival. So they may know about it because I think she has been in contact with some of these people. but I would certainly mention that to her. And thank you for the interest.
Also, we have an arts commission. I don't know if she reached out to them or not, but they might be a source also.
Yes, she did. She reached
Okay.
out to myself and Mike Waddell
Okay, Great.
over the last several months, actually.
great.
So we helped with the venues.
Any other questions? So I'll entertain a motion to allow them to use the triangle May 6th, I forget the hours,
2:30 to
2:30 to 5:30,
2:30 to 5:30,
which
May 6th.
includes setup.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Councilman Anders, seconded by Councilman Dufresne. Questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
I have
Oh,
a
question?
Sorry. Maybe you just said it, I was just making sure. Did you say that contingent upon receiving
Do you want that
the
still?
event form and insurance?
Insurance, yes.
It did say that?
No, they did not say that.
Okay.
All right, would you like to amend your,
What, can I ask a question? What about insurance? Is that?
He's going to need to show us proof of his
Well,
insurance.
he's going to have to prove it's insurance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will amend.
amend to show the
To show
event
the-
planning, which
Planning,
shows the insurance?
form and the insurance, correct.
And I'll amend my second.
Okay. With that being said, any other questions, discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes, and we wish her the best of luck.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
We also received a letter from Aaron Ruack, leader of the Girl Scout Troop 689, with a request to replace a little free library at Lions Playground. Interesting that they want to do that, because I just read about that in the Parade magazine maybe 2 weeks ago. One little girl started that, and now they're popping up all over the country. So,
Can we refer that to a committee?
yeah, we'll refer that to Parks and Rec, because it's going to be at Lions Playground.
Yeah, and maybe, and the only reason I asked that is maybe we think about the location that it's gonna go in.
Well, if we were going to make a motion tonight, I was just going to be contingent upon talking to John Dashala with the location.
Yeah.
So you still want to go to committee?
I think it should go to a committee.
Okay.
To have some discussion.
So if we don't have it at Lions Playground, it could be somewhere else in the borough.
Right, I think it's a great idea, I just think about where to put it.
Okay.
And there is a couple around town. I know there's one at Let's Play Books, and I believe I thought there was another one somewhere.
There's controlled environments where they're at.
Right.
Amber Connection.
Right, there's controlled environments where they're at, and that's my concern is you put it in a dark playground that's not well traveled, as opposed to maybe someplace else where it's more well lit.
All
A little
right, so
better
I'm going to
chance.
refer that to Parks and Rec, who meets
May 1st.
second Monday,
I think they meet.
second Monday in May, right?
No,
Tuesday.
First-
Tuesday.
first Tuesday is May 1st.
First Tuesday in May.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And do we want to let them know in case somebody wants to be there?
Yeah, we'll
Or
reach
try
out.
to be there?
We'll reach out.
Okay. All right, and then we received a letter from Brittany Stevens, a letter of resignation from the Emmaus Arts Commission. And I haven't read this yet, so she has a bigger list of things going on in her life right now, so apparently she's not able to give 100% to this. So with that being said, can we send a letter of thank you for her service to the Emmaus Arts Commission?
Yep.
Thank you. Anybody else have a letter of communication to bring forward? Hearing none. Borough Engineers Report, we have nothing. Solicitors Report.
Two things. All of you hopefully have read the arbitration award concerning probation for promotional police officers. It truly is a very important award to guarantee that we have a tryout period for people who are being moved to these administrative oversight positions. So it really is something that was very important. Second thing is, and I'm pleased with the results too. The second thing deals with the fact that an issue has arisen with our tax collector and a piece of property in the borough I talked to the manager today about it. I will be putting together a brief memo, and we may have to meet to get direction from you as to how to proceed. But not tonight, in a future date. I'll get a memo so you can
Okay.
familiarize yourself with the facts.
Okay,
And that is all I have. Thank you.
thank you. Unfinished business part 1, we have nothing. New business. We have ordinance number 1175 for first reading, and it's an ordinance of the Borough of Emmaus, Lehigh County, Pennsylvania, amending Chapter 15, subsection 602.2.a of the Emmaus Borough Code, removing a residential handicap parking sign on the public street located in front of 733 Walnut Street within the Borough of Emmaus. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve ordinance 1175? Councilman Barrett, seconded by Councilman Anders. Any questions or discussion? This is a roll call vote. Councilman Dufresne?
Aye.
Councilman Barrett?
Aye.
Councilwoman Baumgartner?
Aye.
Councilwoman McManaman?
Aye.
Councilman Schubsta?
Aye.
Councilman Anders?
Aye.
Councilman Ladenburg? Aye. There are 7 ayes.
Second reading will be probably May 21st.
Thank you. Unfinished business part 2, ordinance 1172 will have its second reading May 18th. Ordinance 1173,
June 18th.
I'm sorry, June 18th. Ordinance 1173 will be May 7th. Ordinance 1174 will be May 7th also. Does anybody,
And I apologize, 1175 will be May 7th. There's 3 weeks between now and the next council meeting, so.
okay, so we'll have 3 that night then. Anybody have anything to bring forward from items that are not on the agenda? Hearing none. Mayor's report.
Thank you. You have Proclamation 2018-431 for Arbor Day. Whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed when the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products, increase property value, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, beautify our community, and trees are a source of joyful and spiritual renewal. And whereas trees must be properly planted and maintained to provide long-term community and environmental benefits, and whereas Arbor Day plantings and celebrations improve neighborhoods and create a sense of place. And whereas each year on the last Friday in April, Emmaus pays special tribute to trees and all the natural resource benefits they provide and dedicate themselves to the continued vitality of our forests. Now, therefore, I, Leanne Gilbert, Mayor of the Borough of Emmaus, do hereby proclaim April 27th, 2018 as Arbor Day in the Borough of Emmaus and urge all citizens to support the planting of trees and to promote the well-being of the future and generations. Done the 16th day of 2018 at Emmaus, Pennsylvania.
That was their first time, wasn't it?
Yes.
That is well done.
No, it was not the first time that I've read a proclamation, but.
Well done, but can you do it with a Dutch accent?
And what did I tell you, Chris?
No.
And I said no.
Winnie's
There were other words involved with that than no, I think.
Progress.
Thank you. Committee reports, Public Works. Chairman Anders.
Yes, we have an item on the agenda this evening to hire a full-time Public Works employee named Dakota DeLong. As you'll see in the memo section, we had over 30 applicants for this position. The process included John Dyschella, Shane, and then the committee. The committee met last week and interviewed the three final candidates, and out of those 3, we would like to hire Mr. Dakota for the position. Shane, is there anything you would like to add?
Yeah, if you're good, if we're recommending him, it's going to be contingent upon final background, his preliminary wage, and the amount of time for that preliminary wage as well.
Okay, should that be read out loud?
Yeah.
Okay. We would be hiring Dakota at $22.41 per hour, which is 90% of the Public Works 1 rate, which is compatible with what he is earning in Upper Milford. And it's also contingent upon after 90 days, is that correct, Shane?
Well, after 90 days, by contract, he would move up to class 2.
Okay,
You don't need a, I mean, that's just by contract.
okay. And it's contingent on his background check?
Yep.
And I'll put that in the form of a motion.
There's a motion by Councilman Anders. Is there a second?
Second?
Councilwoman McManaman? Any questions or discussion? I was on the committee that interviewed him, and I'm excited to welcome him to the team. I think it's a great addition to the Public Works.
Yeah, he's highly qualified for the well-rounded. We were looking in particular for somebody that was well-rounded this time and who had some machine operating experience, some carpentry, some electrical. He hits all those. I mean, he just finished a certification course for electricity, which is going to come in very handy for us. He has carpentry experience. You could almost throw him in the garage. I mean, he has mechanic experience. So, you know, we really kind of hit a ringer with Troy Bauer last time, and we were looking for a mechanic, and we got a guy that can do everything. This reminds you of to me, this gentleman reminds you of that kind of employee.
Great.
I think he was very energetic, what he brought to the table, came in very professional, and we definitely feel he'll be a great fit for us.
All right, anybody else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes.
Shane, do we need anything on what we discussed this evening?
Library.
Yeah, we probably should.
Okay,
What do you
so,
Probably should.
this evening we met to discuss, the library had come to us, they had an issue with, in the parking lot, a pipe that needed to be installed, and they inquired if our Public Works could install the piping versus possibly their contractor. We asked them and our Public Works Department to come up with estimates of what it would take to install the pipe. We had much discussion about liability insurance and who would be responsible, being that they have a construction person on site. Our first meeting, we held it over till this evening till we could get further information. And this evening, looking at the cost that you have in front of you, we decided that we would permit them to use their contractor instead of the Borough Public Works. Part of the reason being that the timeframes could be done, completed quicker, and the cost was a similar cost structure.
I don't think we need a motion. It's just that if somebody feels differently, they can bring it forward.
Yeah, I think it's important to emphasize that they had asked us to consider doing the work. And we really, we hesitate for a number of reasons. One is we're looking at 3 guys for an entire week for us to do it. And those 3 guys are in the middle of a lot of major projects. And for as far as we are behind on things because of weather, I'm not sure that we can afford to lose those 3 guys. And that was a big discussion that the committee members had. Secondly, we looked at what the cost would be to the library. Obviously, we would probably just charge them the cost of materials, but we're looking at, incurring over $9,000 of costs. The quote that they received is like $7,500 or somewhere in there from the contractor. We were thinking, boy, if it's going to cost us $9,000 to do it, the contractor's bidding it right, like it's probably going to be $20,000 or $15,000 to $20,000 for them to do it. And if that's the case, then maybe we need to have a bigger conversation of do we really think they can afford that much money? And when we looked at it, and the committee just met, I think their feeling was $7,500 is cheaper than what we could actually do it for, and our guys can do the work that they're supposed to be doing. And it reduces our liability and any kind of tensions between the contractor and our guys in terms of if something goes wrong there, who gets to blame and who has to fix it, and the potential pitfalls and the
And I'll add,
problems, so.
Shane, to timeline. So if our crew was gonna do it, it might have taken longer to get done versus this contractor probably can do it right away and do it in a couple days, so.
Anyone have any questions regarding that?
So essentially, we just declined to have our borough Public Works do the project because the cost came in a lot lower than we were expecting. If it was $15,000-$20,000, it would probably be a different
It would be a
discussion.
different discussion this evening.
But, and that's just what Shane said, so. All right.
So we also had Doug Hall and Reds Bailey come in to discuss some shade tree from the Shade Tree Commission and some planting of trees for Earth Day, which we just heard about from Ms. Mayor.
Arbor Day. That was Arbor Day.
Arbor Day, excuse me. And we discussed with John Dashala about the possibility of planting some trees down around the triangle, which had some openings to do. And Shane, that was completed, correct? The new trees have been, actually, the wells were dug out and they planted the trees so that they can do it. The trees were partially donated by Kiwanis, correct? Shane?
And Lincoln.
And Lincoln Elementary. So we're thankful to have those down on the triangle.
Not Kiwanis.
Rotary, excuse me, I apologize.
Oh.
Strike that from the record. But we were very thankful that they had donated the trees and wanted to have them planted here in the borough and downtown. So we appreciate the donations and of course Public Works for installing the trees. With that, there's just a few notes there, and I'll report progress.
Thank you, Chairman Anders. Health, Sanitation, and Codes Committee, Chairman Shupsta.
Yes, nothing for official action. However, just to recap on Earth Day this weekend, I just want to thank the Upper Milford EAC Committee on all the hard work that they did this weekend and the Emmaus Borough employees on putting together the Recycling Earth Day event at Community Park. I was down there all day working, so it was a lot of fun. We collected over 3 truckloads of electronic recycling, including televisions, computers, printers, and many other miscellaneous electronic items. We also had a very successful document shredding event. So it went very well. It was crowded early. It kind of tailed off around 10 and then picked up a little bit towards the end. So we filled up 3 large trucks. Yes.
And that's a record, correct?
Last year we had 3 large trucks too.
Oh, it was the same? Okay.
Yeah, same amount.
Okay.
The only record set this year goes to the gentleman who pulled up in a minivan who, I don't know how he got in the minivan, but it was literally computer parts all the way to the ceiling.
Nice.
Is that you?
So that way. No, when he said I have some computers and we opened it up, we were like, how did you get them all in here and how are we getting them out of this thing?
It's like the game Jenga or something, right?
Oh, my gosh.
So there was 4 of us just hauling for 20 minutes trying to pull all these computer desktops and monitors out of there. It's like, I've been collecting for years. Yeah.
How did it go for the shredding? I know there was, some possibility we discussed earlier about that. Any issues?
No, none whatsoever. Everybody came in. It went really well. I mean, they had a very successful event, and yeah, definitely the electronic stuff was amazing. How much the trucks were filled up so quickly. You see the same stuff, but it's amazing.
Yeah.
Some of these and what they weigh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I'm still a little sore from throwing those things up on a truck, but it was fun. It was good, and then they had a large crowd that went out and collected garbage along certain areas of the tracks in the Weiss area and stuff like that. So it was nice. Yep.
Just as a general comment, and I wasn't there this year, but I've participated many years in the past, and one of the most interesting things, or sad things, I don't know how you want to look at it, is that you can go to the same spot year after year, and you can pull out amounts that you think, this trash must have been here for 30 years. We got it out. This place is going to be clean. You can go back the very next year, and somehow it feels all the same. Either you missed some, obviously new stuff was added, but it's a sad truth to it. I mean, it is something that really needs to be done frequently.
Amazing.
I mean, we could probably do it monthly and beautify our area more, but trash
they
continually
send
gets thrown where it's not
15
supposed
people
to.
over to the Weiss Tracks area along that whole side, and that takes quite a long time to clean just that area up. It's amazing, but they did a great job. I mean, everybody did a very nice job. So it's nice that we do that. We still have, and ours is still on Mondays, right? Our, every first Monday, right?
Second Monday.
Electronic. Second Monday.
Second
for
Monday,
electronic.
12 to
Oh, yeah,
4, I
yeah,
believe.
yeah.
12 to 4?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, excellent.
12 to,
12 to 6?
No, you,
I think it's going 12 to 7.
oh, is it till 7 now?
I think it moved up.
Just direct them to the website.
Yeah.
It's 12 to whenever.
Yeah, it starts at noon.
It starts at noon. Just bring your stuff. Yeah, our next meeting will be scheduled for April 25th at 4:30 PM. I report progress.
Thank you, Chairman Schubsta. Parks and Recreation Committee, Chairwoman Baumgartner.
There's nothing for official action. We met and discussed a variety of topics. The notes are attached. Some highlights weren't able to do a lot of field maintenance due to the weather, so hopefully the weather will be nice and we'll be able to get to that. We will be in need of hiring lifeguards coming up, and we talked a little bit about how to increase volunteerism for the Recreation and Entertainment Commission. And that led to some discussion about websites, which we'll explore further at another time. So our next meeting is May 1st, 4:30 PM. Progress.
Thank you, Chairwoman Baumgartner. Public Safety Committee, Chairman Dufresne.
Okay, we have two things for action tonight. We're going to make recommendations for hiring full-time paramedics tonight. So just some little bit of background. There were 10 applicants, and 3 were advanced to a final round of interviews, but 1 took a job before the final round of interviews. So we did interview 2 individuals for this. So first motion I'd like to make is to hire Jonathan Flieger as a full-time paramedic at a wage of $21.67 per hour for the first 90 days, and then $24.08 an hour after 90 days, contingent upon passing our background check.
There's a motion on the floor by Councilman Dufresne. Is there a second? Councilman Barrett? Questions or discussion? Councilman Barrett?
Mr. Pappy, does that have to be stated as a probationary period?
Yeah.
I'll amend my motion to include probation.
We have an amended motion, second amended. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes.
Second one, make a motion to hire Brian Zabo as a full-time paramedic at a wage of $21.67 per hour for the first 90 days. So to probationary period, the first 90 days, right? Subject to the probationary period, and then $24.08 contingent upon passing our background check.
There's a motion on the floor by Councilman Dufresne. Is there a second?
Yes, sorry.
Councilman Barrett? Question?
Just one question, Shane, are these the new paramedics that was put into place in the budget, or is this a replacement?
No, these are well, we were going to hire 1. The other one's a replacement from a previous employee.
Okay, and then we are fully staffed for
Yes.
paramedics?
Yes.
Okay.
Just as a side note, I'm very excited about both of these gentlemen. Jonathan has worked for us for part-time for a little while now and is a very good paramedic. And Brian has been in the field for quite some time. We don't just do interviews, and that's important that people understand that. We also send them for an assessment at the Emergency Management Institute, where they have to go through a skills assessment. So we're looking at, can they actually do work out in the field? And both of them scored very well in the EMI assessment. So we do it similarly to the Public Works. The department managers and I do the first round of interviews, and then we narrow it down. And we narrowed it down to a top 3 or 4, really a top 3. And our number 3 candidate took another job in the meantime. These 2, the nice thing is these 2 were our 2 highest scoring candidates from the first 2 rounds of interviews. So these were the 2 that we had our eyes on anyway. So we're very happy that they are the 2 that we were able to select. They're to me, and I've told you in the past, like, I'm concerned about it, with paramedics. We're settling for this guy. I've said that how many times to you? Like, we're settling because it just seems like getting paramedics is impossible. I mean, that's one of those fields where it's just like civil service. We had 11 applicants and we're down to 7 already after the written exam on Saturday. I mean, that's what we had to choose from, and everybody knows that by the time we get done with the polygraphs, We're gonna be lucky if we have any. It's kind of the same thing with paramedics. It's, the field is so tight to pick from. You know, we felt like we've had to settle in some cases in the past. With these two, I feel differently. I feel like we've got two good individuals, so. You need
All
a
right,
vote.
anything else? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes.
And then the committee notes are attached, so unless anybody has any questions here, I report progress. Our next meeting is scheduled for May 8th at 3 o'clock. I will not be here. I'll be in a warmer place.
Well, so with that said, Mr. Dufresne, I did ask Ms. Baumgartner regarding scheduling the days and the times, and she is okay with changing that. So maybe after this meeting, the three of you get together and we decide what day we're going to change the committee meeting to.
Permanently?
Permanently.
So you'll have to re-advertise
Yeah,
it.
this will be a permanent change. Because we have some scheduling issues.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Okay, so progress.
Thank you, Chairman Dufresne. General Administration Committee, it is myself. We have Resolution 2018-19, amended open records policy. I will read the resolution. A resolution reestablishing the position of open records officer, providing for an alternate open records officer, establishing the chief of police as the open records officer for the police department, and providing for the terms and conditions governing the borough's compliance with the Pennsylvania Right to Know law. So, in a nutshell, Shane, you want to just tell them what that means?
Yeah, nothing changed other than one of the things that we have an issue with is, as we've always done, all open records matters in the police department go. I send them right over to the police department, and quite honestly, half the time I don't even see them. The police department handles them. But we have nothing in writing. And when we were going through the accreditation process the other day, the pre-accreditation process, it was actually brought up. We've been talking in Gen Ed for a couple years that, hey, we should probably change this, throw it on the back burner because it just hasn't been a big deal.
I thought we did it
But
too.
we've probably talked about it 4 or 5 times, that, hey, we should change this, throw it in the back burner. So
So it makes it official for the chief.
it makes it official. The other thing, though, that we do is we throw more at him. We say, hey, if I'm not available, he gets to handle all of them. So if I'm away on vacation for a week and there's an open records request, the chief of police can handle it as the alternate open records officer.
All right, would somebody like to make the motion to approve Resolution 2018-19? Councilman Barrett, second by Councilman Anders. Any more questions on that? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes. Also, we would like to give Shane permission to go out and get electricity bids at an auction, like we did in the past. The recommendation coming out of the committee was to give him a time frame of, I believe it was 12 to 24 months. But since then, we have found out that some of the 3-year rates, 36 months, is actually cheaper than the 12 and 24 months. So we would like to alter that to
1 to 3 years.
1 to 3 years. So if somebody would like to make a motion to allow Shane to go out to bid, or auction, I should say. Councilman Barrett, second by Councilman Dufresne. Any questions on that? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes. Then, as you know, we've been acquiring some stuff in the borough that's no longer needed or leftover or found in cleanup projects that we are going to have an auction and sell, but we would like to allow Shane to go out and hire an auctioneer and plan for this. So would somebody like to make a motion for that? Councilman Andrews, seconded by Councilman Schubsta. Councilman Barrett?
My understanding, most of the stuff is some of the stuff that's been found at the fire training grounds.
There's yes, there's a large amount
Yes.
from there, but we also have a lot of vehicles that we didn't put on municipal bid that we should have. But we will sell them all, during a public auction process instead.
Shane.
That would be the goal. But we also have stuff
Oh.
in that new building. I mean,
I was just gonna
we
say.
need cabinets, but we don't need 600. We need
Right.
cubicles, but we don't need 500.
Yeah.
And so we have a lot of stuff. We're thinking like a midsummer to late summer type of thing, but I bet we could probably fill up that entire 33 Minor Street parking lot of
Easily.
vehicles and stuff.
We're gonna do it all one shot?
Yeah, what we would do is we would hire an auctioneer. We'd have to, unless I don't know any auctioneers in the valley, it would be something that I'm gonna have to find.
I can
But
help.
they would advertise. We would have to go through. You know some?
I know a lot.
Of course
them.
you
I
do.
can help you.
I would have figured. He was the guy.
I am
would've-
not an auctioneer,
I would've
however, I
guessed.
do know a lot of them.
But we'll go through the public process of doing all that and getting it advertised and doing an auction. So and the department managers are very much on board with that process. They really are. Get rid of our junk.
I think it's good to clean it out.
Have somebody else buy our junk.
Yes.
No.
Shane, is that a bid process?
To hire the auctioneer? No.
No, they're professional.
Just, okay.
And what happens to anything that doesn't get sold?
Scrap.
Lower the price.
That's negative thinking
We
there.
have a free yard sale day?
Scrap metal.
Mr. Schuster will man it.
I'll run the free yard sale day.
We can donate it, right?
But it'll all get sold.
Box lot.
You're saying masses of things.
That's a horrible thought. No, we'll have to. Hopefully, we'd be able to sell everything. If we don't, then maybe we do run a municipal bid online thing. It depends on what doesn't sell, though. If it's like filing cabinets, we can actually pass resolutions to sell items that are $1,000 or less, so that way you can sell it straight out to somebody. You know, so if you know somebody wants to buy a $100 filing cabinet for $20, whatever it is that we price the value at. I mean, you go to if we don't set minimum bids on stuff,
They'll go.
it'll all go.
Yeah.
There's a junk collector out there somewhere that'll want to buy this stuff up.
You mean that 1957 truck that?
Terry's-
Yeah,
That's a collector.
Yeah.
It's a 1939 box of tissues.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
that's collectible. It's gonna go for 10 grand.
Well,
There should be a minimum.
But it's empty.
I think there is, there will be some items where we're going to set a minimum on. The 1959 truck, for example, you might want to set a minimum on it. You don't want to sell that. If you don't set a minimum,
The auctioneer.
somebody could buy it for $500. That's like you said, that's a collector's item.
Exactly. Vintage.
And where does the money go to that's collected?
That's something that you guys are going to need to
Okay.
decide whether we want to put it to each department, as it's sold, or whether you want to put it towards a special project, or whether that's something that I think Budget and Finance will probably work on thinking about.
So we have a motion and a second from over here, right? Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes. Then we have, we need to hire a couple sergeants, so would somebody like to make a motion to direct the Civil Service Commission to begin the exam process for hiring of sergeants? Councilman Dufresne, seconded by Councilwoman McManaman. Any questions or discussion on that? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes. Also, we interviewed 3 banks to handle our banking services here, or our banking here at the borough. And we had it narrowed down to 2, and after discussion, we decided to go with Lafayette Ambassador Bank. And you have a 44-page proposal in your iPad. So would somebody like to make a motion to approve Lafayette Ambassador Bank? Councilman Barrett, seconded by Councilman Dufresne. Any questions or discussion? Councilman Barrett.
If you go to the very last page in the packet, I think that's the one that tells the most. There's a lot of other things, and that you have to have some of that stuff explained to understand it. But at the end of the day, if you compare what our banking relationship is currently with our current bank compared to what it would be with some assumed interest rates and how much money stays in there, it's about a $21,000 positive swing in our favor. Am I correct in saying that? And that's pretty notable for a bank transaction. I mean, it's as simple as switching the bank, and that was the results that we got. So the this not only will hopefully streamline some things, but also has a net positive result, which is great.
Also noting that it was the highest interest rate for our
It was. That's
deposits.
a big part of that is the interest rate that is driving that, but also the reduction of fees, I think, was about it reduced it by about 3,000 or so.
And it satisfies the borough workers that it's here in the borough, so it kind of makes it a little,
Yeah, and that was a big concern of
More
our
available.
accounting department, was having a borough branch,
Mhm.
something that's steady. You know, one of the banks that applied was Nutripolian, and they were very impressive.
Yep.
You know, the thought is, you know, this is a 3-year deal. And maybe in 3 years, once Nutripoli is established in the area, maybe we think about them a little bit differently. But there's a number, I think, of unknowns that we weren't totally comfortable with, as opposed to, you know, the one that had their stuff right here and has been here. But I think all three were impressive.
yep. All right, anybody else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes. And then you see in the notes, there are 4 pages. If you have any questions, I will entertain them. If not, I report progress. Our next meeting is April 26th here in Council Chambers at 9 a.m. Budget and Finance Committee Chairman Barrett.
We have one item that requires official action, and that is our bill list. It is Resolution 2018-18, and I'll place that in form of a motion.
So motion by Councilman Barrett. Is there a second? Councilman Dufresne. Questions or discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say no. There are, Councilman Shipsa, did you say aye?
Aye.
There are 7 ayes. I caught that out of my eye.
He was asking me a question.
Wow.
And I will report progress.
Thank you, Chairman Barrett.
Who voted this guy?
That wasn't intended.
I know.
That was not intended. Community Relations Planning and Development Committee, Chairwoman McManaman.
Nothing for official action, although I would like to publicly thank everyone who was our on-air talent for the Friday taping of Boroughs of Pennsylvania. We did get an email, or I did get an email from both of our contacts who said that this was the best show that they had taped so far.
Yes.
So
So far, I hope it wasn't the first episode.
No,
Okay.
They've had more than a dozen. But one of the things that I would like to note was that everyone was prepared. Mayor and Wes did a fabulous job, felt very comfortable in front of the camera, and it was just a very long day and a wonderful day. It was the best, sunniest day of the year so far.
Yes.
So thank you for that. Do you guys have any comment to make publicly on just the experience that you
It
had?
was fun. It really was. It was
Okay.
fun to do.
Yeah, it was really great.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, it was fun, and also I mean, one of the things, so both Lee and I have sat here for a long time, and you talk about a lot of projects, and some stuff you kind of just forget about some of the things that you've done, so when you go back on thinking about what you're gonna say and the things that stand out to others that might not be involved in it all the time, you kind of re-trigger those thoughts, and it's just rewarding to remember a lot of the effort that we put in as a group gets to be highlighted and showcase our borough and everything that it is. So yeah, it was neat to kind of go back on some of those things. One question I had, it's probably been stated somewhere, but it may be an unknown also. What is the date that it's going to air?
May 3rd. I just
It
got.
is, okay, is that it?
It's
Okay.
not, it's only tentative. They're hoping that it is the May 3rd. It's the
Okay.
first Thursday of every month.
Okay,
So they are hustling. We just sent them the last photos today from all of the participants as well as people across the town that were taking some photos. Shane has them for his use as well for.
and do we know the channel lineup on RCN and service?
We will actually get a link first
Okay.
and the official date with all of that information for Emmaus.
Okay,
What is the actual name of the show?
Boroughs of Pennsylvania.
Boroughs of Pennsylvania.
Exploring Boroughs of Pennsylvania.
Nice. Thank you.
Can that be viewed online? Because like I have DirecTV? I don't think I have.
They're going to send us the link
I've seen it.
so that we can put it out there as well.
Nice.
I had something else I wanted to say on that. I don't know what it was. The next meeting is April 19th, and I'll report progress.
Thank you, Chairwoman McManaman. You have various boards and commission meeting minutes, some quarterly reports, a lot of good information there on what's going on in the borough. Personal Appeals Part 2. Unless a reporter wants to make one, we have nobody in the audience. Borough Manager's Report.
So 3 things. First of all, the significant revenue and expense items for the first half of April are on your iPads. Secondly, we have hired Sarah Foley of Emmaus and Brandon Sherritt of Emmaus as summer pool cashiers for $7.25 an hour. The last thing, we're going to end up referring over to CRD and having them meet with Alice Fortunato, who would like to do an internship with us. I know that they have some questions and get some better understanding of the individual and the intention, and I absolutely agree with that. So I think we will refer that over to them.
Okay, we'll refer that to them.
Thank you.
If you have any questions for me, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, I will report progress.
Thank you. President's business, I have nothing, so I report progress. Is there a motion to adjourn? Councilman Barrett, second. Councilman Anders? It seems like these 3 are raising their hands. You guys are being lazy tonight. What's going on?
I had a couple moments.
You got a
yeah,
couple in there.
right.
All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Meeting adjourned at 7:52 Borough time.